Mount Fuji, the belle of Japan. Train crews from Hachioji, west of the Tokyo metropolis, to the station nearest to Mount Fuji. From there, head north for some unexpected encounters. Watch a performing art that has entertained travelers for centuries.
何年も続けて残していきたい。
Descend into a sacred cave created by Mount Fuji. Marvel at the star-studded skies. Climb to a temple that has passed centuries on a mountainside. Let's go on a remarkable journey into the depths of Mount Fuji and beyond. Hachioji, a bed town in the west of the Tokyo metropolis. Our journey begins at JR Hachioji Station. First, we head west.
The next departure from track number 4 will be the 10:47 a.m. local train bound for Taka. 本日も JR 東日本をご利用くださいましてありがとうございます。
Setting out on a journey is always exciting. It gets you wondering about what new discoveries you'll make. We change at Takao Station. The next train's already waiting for us. It's a quick transfer, so don't drag your feet. Around 30 minutes outside Hachioji, and we're in the mountains of Yamanashi Prefecture. When traveling to Mount Fuji from Tokyo on commuter trains, you need to change at Otsuki Station. Let's take a look inside. Hey, how cool is this? A lump of solidified lava from Mount Fuji. The city of Otsuki was a post town on the ancient highway that once connected Tokyo to Yamanashi. This beautiful old house speaks of that history. As does this bridge. Whoa, that's a long way down. We're about 31 meters up. The stream is so narrow here, the bridge doesn't need piers. Holes were bored into the rock face on either side for the base which supports the span. 19th century ukiyo-e artist Utagawa Hiroshige was apparently so impressed he created a woodblock print of this scene. Otsuki also boasts a folk performing art that dates back about 400 years. We get a peek at their rehearsal. Each puppet is manipulated by 3 people. Just how do they keep it together?
This 全体の頭ですね。頭と右手を使うものですね。これをおもづかいと言います。
The head puppeteer uses his left hand to move the head and his right hand for the right arm. The left puppeteer manipulates the left arm from behind so as not to stand out. The leg puppeteer controls the movement of the legs.
左手さんとおむずかいさんがしっかり呼吸を合わせて、はい、両手を合わせて、はい、ここでお辞儀をします。
Children ranging from ages 4 through 12 join the adults to learn the ropes.
近くで公園があって、それを見た時に1体の人形を3人で命を吹き込んで一生懸命動かしているところがすごい素敵だなって思って、自分もできたらなって思って始めました。
何年も続けて残していきたいと思います。
At Otsuki Station, we change from the JR line to the Fuji-Q Railway. From here, we go right to the foot of Mount Fuji. The world-famous peak is the main motif on the gold body. And the seats bear images of Mount Fuji too. What attention to detail! It's like a traveling museum with the old photos showing the history of the line. Before the railway took over, carriages were drawn by horses along tracks laid over the roads. In 1929, as travelers to Mount Fuji increased, the horses were replaced with a proper railway, and now tourists can take day trips to Mount Fuji from Tokyo.
This is a Fuji-Q Line train for Kawaguchiko. The next station is Kawaguchiki. The doors on the right line will open. お待たせしました。富士急行線をご利用くださいましてありがとうございます。電車川口湖行きです。
There it is. Beautiful, as always. Can you guess what these seats are lined up for? To sit and admire the perfect view of Mount Fuji. We could sit here all day, but we've got more to see. Exit the station and hang a right. The pilgrims would cleanse themselves at this stream. Let's take a look around. The building goes on and on. This 250-year-old residence for Shinto priests was a popular inn, and at times there were so many lodgers they'd be sleeping in the corridors. This place is huge. We're finally at the back. Here's an altar. What deity is enshrined here?
祀られている神様はですね、この花咲夜姫といいまして、富士山の女神様になります。屋敷の中にいわば小さな神社があるといった形で、御師ご祈祷師がですね、こちらの前で皆様に富士山の無事に山頂にたどり着けますようにとか、健康祈願そういったことをこちらのご神殿の前でお祓いをしていたというそういう場所になります。
Pilgrims to Mount Fuji would visit one special location before their climb. It lies concealed in this forest at the foot of Mount Fuji. we have a guide to show us around. It looks like an entrance to a cave.
入って出てくることで生まれ変わって新しい気持ちになってから富士登山をすると、そういうふうな自分の身を清める場所としてここを大勢の方々が使われたようですね。
Cameras ready? Let's go.
.こちらがですね、あばら骨のように見えるよという表現をされます。
1,000 years ago, lava flows from Mount Fuji swallowed up the forest that stood here and solidified. A strange web of caverns remained after the trunks burnt away. When people discovered them, they envisioned the inside of the human body. They believed that passing through cleansed them for their ascent of the sacred Mount Fuji.
長さがですね20メートルほどになるんですが、本当にまん丸いわけですね。木だから当たり前なんですけれど、改めてこうしてみると、すごいなというふうに思います。 ここを私たちは今母の胎内と呼んでいます。で、こちらにはですね、神様が祀られていることを言います。
It's the same female deity that is enshrined in the inn's altar. Pilgrims crawled through here with only candlelight to guide them. Time to say farewell to Mount Fuji. First, back to JR Otsuki Station. Then we head north, through an area with stony soil formed by eons of tectonic activity. Vineyards everywhere. The soil and the rainfall here are the ideal conditions for cultivating grapes. The grapes and wine produced here were transported by train to Tokyo, and from there around the country. This station preserves an important relic from that era. Trains once carried grapes and wine through this tunnel. Now it serves as a wine cellar, 1,100 meters deep, with the capacity to hold 1 million bottles. It maintains a fixed temperature year-round, making it an ideal place for neighboring wineries, restaurants, and wine connoisseurs from other regions to store their wines. Close by is Daizenji, founded in the 8th century. The Yakushido Main Hall is a national treasure. The temple's main image is Yakushi Nyorai, the Buddha who heals illnesses and brings peace to the nation. The actual statue can only be viewed by the public every 5 years. In its hand rest grapes, a fruit once eaten as a medicine. Around 1,300 years ago, Yakushi Nyorai appeared in a dream to a priest who was in the area on an ascetic retreat. In the Buddha's hand were grapes. On awaking, the priest carved what he saw and founded this temple to enshrine the statue. Daizenji is considered to be the birthplace of grape cultivation in Japan, and 15 varieties of grapes are grown on its land. Winemaking began in the region around 150 years ago, and the priests produced their own too.
ちょっと甘口です。今年はちょっと。
The priests and the local grape farmers combine their harvests and produce wine here for their own consumption.
だいたい朝畑へ行く前にちょっとコップ1杯飲んで、お昼3時のお茶に1杯飲んで、お昼に帰って1杯飲んで、また3時に1杯飲んで、で畑から帰ってきて1杯飲んで、お風呂入ってゆっくり晩酌すると大体1日1升瓶1本飲むと、そんな形でみんな我々の一つ前の皆さんはそんな形で飲んでましたけどね。
The temple's red wine is made from Muscat Bailey A, and the white from Koshu grapes. Now let's keep going. We get off at Kasugaicho Station and walk along the tracks for 20 minutes. This guest house is popular with railway fans. Let's have a look.
いらっしゃいませ。
This is the most popular room for the obvious reason. it's blessed with a small view of Mount Fuji. The owner, Yamada Yuki, quit his full-time job 2 years ago to start this guest house. His pride and joy is his diorama of an N-scale model railway. Visitors can bring their own favorite model trains to run on the tracks.
これは四万十川の近くを走っているトロッコなんですけど、お客さんが行き来する扉をつけたりとか、中にこの椅子があるんですけど、この椅子なんかを自分で作ったりとかして、本物と同じように作り変えたっていう感じ。
お客さんがいろんな車両を持ってきてくださるので、この時代の何月何日に走った編成なんですよとかっていうのを作ってきたりとか、いろいろその楽しみ方もそれぞれ人によって違うので、結構見てるのがねすごい楽しいですね。
Time to move on. With the southern Alps behind us, we pass the Yatsugatake volcanic group on the Highland Train. The tracks begin to climb after we leave the station and curve slowly to the right. We're almost at the foot of the Yatsugatake Mountains. This line reaches the highest altitude of all JR lines in Japan. Of its 31 stations, 8 sit above 1,000 meters. This, the highest JR station, surpasses 1,345 meters. The Nobeyama Highland lies at the foot of the Yatsugatake mountain range and cradles a world-famous astronomical observatory. Built right after the war, it earned an international reputation for its solar radio and cosmic radio observations. The 45-meter-wide radio telescope captures minute radio waves from several billion light years away, helping to unravel some of the universe's mysteries. And it has produced some amazing results.
ブラックホールが本当にあるんだってことを確証をしたのがですね、この望遠鏡の一番大きな成果です。今でもですね、星の誕生をですね、調べるというようなですね、ことをですね、精力的にやってます。その38年間ずっと第一線で日本の電波天文を引っ張り続けている望遠鏡というふうに言えますね。
You can always tell when there's something worth seeing. Mount Asama. Don't let the serenity fool you. Minor eruptions disturb the peace from time to time. You can sense the history in this house near the station. Komoro, here in Nagano Prefecture, was once a post town on the ancient highway that connected Tokyo to the Sea of Japan. A 10-minute car ride carries us into the mountains. Here, a secluded temple perches out of reach of the currents of time. It's on stilts. Shakusonji is a sacred spot far from the hustle and bustle. Priests would come here to renounce worldly desire and focus on prayer. Mount Osama has watched over the pilgrims for centuries. What an adventure! But alas, time to head back to Tokyo.